Hey guys, James Phillips here with Brian Hill as always. This is our DME Southern Orthopedic Prep Zone preview show. Brian, game of the week, we're here in Carbon Hill, Curry at Carbon Hill. Curry doesn't have any wins on the year. Carbon Hill's only got 3, but it's going to be a highly contested game, and Carbon Hill is celebrating the fact that they get to go to the playoffs this year.
Yeah, looking for some motivation before they go into the playoffs with a big win over a county rivalry. That's what they're aiming for this week, and Curry, they're looking to end this year with a win so they don't have to go winless for the first time, I believe, since 2001.
Well, it's been 20 years since Carbon Hill's gone to the playoffs, so it's a reason to celebrate for sure. And since we're here today, we'll have you talking to Coach Chavis Williams and a couple of players. And then also we got a special guest for our picks later on who will join us, who's a Carbon Hill mini celebrity.
The prodigy.
Kind of a short celebrity, about yay tall. So, but we'll have him with us as well. People probably can already guess, but we'll just wait till the end to introduce him.
Yep, and he'll bring the insight.
Right.
The insight that is always good.
Well, he's always better than any of our staff.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
That's the positive. All right, guys, we'll be back in just a moment, and Brian will be talking to Coach Chavis Williams and a few of the Carbon Hill football players.
Welcome back, everybody, and now we have the Carbon Hill head coach, Chavis Williams, and 2 of his players. Coach, if you could introduce Alex and Cade to us and tell us what they play for your team.
Yes, sir. To my right, we have Alex Atkins, senior, running back and inside linebacker. We got Cade Perry, senior. He's an outside linebacker and running back as well.
Well, Coach, I know that this has been the past couple of days. Carbon Hill, your team, they clinched their first playoff berth in 20 years. What's the atmosphere been like around the team, around the school, ever since the clinching of that playoff berth?
Well, the problem is the weekend, that's what we were supposed to do, celebrate over the weekend. And, you know, these guys be the first to tell you yesterday we kind of didn't have a very good day because we had some layover from that. And all our focus is on the Curry Yellow Jackets coming here Friday night. You know, they're hungry for a win, and we understand that, and we're going to treat this game like the first round of the playoff, actually. And so for the program and for these kids, well-deserving, but I would just like for us to just focus on Curry.
And obviously this has been kind of a culmination that you guys have built up to this point. When you shift that focus to Curry and treat it as a playoff game, does the intensity ramp up a lot more? What do? Do you do some extra preparation to treat this like a playoff game?
No extra preparation. What I mean by playoff game is just treat it like it could be your last time out there. And to get back to that, it's a rivalry game, so I think anytime anybody can tell you with a rivalry game, the record books get thrown out. So we know they're going to come in here, and like I said, it's going to be the most important of the game because it's the next one. Most important game of the year because it's the next one on the schedule. And so we're going to hope to have out next 3 days of prep and go out there on Friday night and try to get the job done.
Well, guys, obviously you're going to see Curry, they attempted to balance themselves out a little bit more from a primarily rush to balancing out to a little bit more passing along with it. That's going to fall heavily on you guys to try to get in there and get some disruption, not only on the passing game, but to bottle up those running backs. Alex, Cade, what can you tell that you've seen thus far on Curry for the challenge that you're going to have?
We know that they're going to run right at us, and we're practicing this week being physical up front, reading our keys and flying to the ball.
We're just making sure we get our guards read and everything like that, and hit them in the mouth when they try coming at us.
Yeah, Coach, what's the game plan defensively to counter that offense that they're going to bring in?
And Coach Foster, first year over there, he's doing a good job of improving their strength and kind of hiding their weaknesses, which good coaches do. And I just think they play a tough schedule, and record should never define who you are. And so they do a good job of running the ball when they want to run it, and taking shots early downs, to try to keep you honest. And it's going to be a challenge for us, all right, to tone in and do our job every play, and keep everything in front of us and not nothing over the top. They run a couple sets where you got to put guys in the box, because if you don't, they'll run it down your throat, and that singles up people on the outside. So our corners are going to be challenged this week. I think they'll be up for it, and hit back a little bit on the success that we had last week. I think the games we've been in this year that have been close, they have all been close games, and we've had to find ways to win. So I think that is a plus that these guys are learning how to win, and we still got ways to do with that, but it's progress every day, and they're gonna come in here and try to hit us in the mouth. I mean, that's point blank period, and like you say, they'll be ready to play. It's a rivalry game.
And you guys, as we're closing in, to Coach's absolute modicum about the progress, this has been a constant progression for me all day one to be able to get to the spot where you are. Talk about how that feels for it to pay off, and how you're going to use that also going into the game against Curry.
Well, reality hadn't set in yet about the playoffs, but right now we're just worried about Curry. This year we've been working on being a player-led team, and we've been trying to establish that. We still have work to do, but I think it's improved since the beginning of the year.
Just like Alex said, we got a lot of work to do, but I mean, we're coming in more as a team overall.
Well, Coach, before we leave, we have to talk a little bit about Saturday. You had a chance to be honored, part of the 2009 National Championship team. You were back there on the field, back there with a lot of your old playing mates. I know even one from Baltimore, you were back out there, I know, with Cody, and just an overall experience for you. What did you think?
I was just thinking that how can a small town boy from Dora, Alabama get this opportunity, but it was heartwarming, and I really enjoyed that. I was able to take my kids too, and they got to stand on the sideline with me before the game, and just looking back at it, like I tell these kids all the time, you enjoy it while you can, because one day it's gonna be over with, and that's the beauty of being on a team that was all about each other, and when you see each other 10 years later, you still pick up right where you left off, and that's what I love about football. It's a great game, and like I say, it was a wonderful experience, and I enjoyed the heck out of it.
It's an interesting little caveat, though, that it happens. They do this for the Arkansas game. A lot of people don't remember this, but I do. Before Coach Saban came in, you were thinking about going to
Arkansas. Yeah.
It's a little weird, isn't it?
Best decision of my life.
Absolutely. Well, guys, good luck on Friday night. We wish you the best, and we'll definitely also be rooting for you all in the playoffs. I know it's great. It's absolutely a happy feeling about the school, and good luck to you on Friday night.
And I would like to end with this, with you and your staff. I mean, we cannot appreciate enough, and I'm pretty sure every coach in this area can tell you the same, of what you guys do to promote football in this county, and get these guys a stage, a platform, and we really appreciate you for that. And to our fans, I mean, it's these seniors' last home game, all right, guaranteed in GWQ Stadium. We would like for everybody to come out. It's supposed to be good weather, dress warm, and come enjoy a big rivalry game. And like I said, we hope to see everybody out Friday, and appreciate what you guys have done all season and continue to do.
Well, thank you, Coach. We appreciate it. And we're going to return back in just a moment with picks. We're actually going to be joined by another member of the Mountain Eagle staff, somebody that Coach Chavis Williams knows very well. He's going to be joining us at picks, so stay tuned.
Welcome back in, guys. James Phillips here, joined by Brian Hale, Jeffrey Winborn, and Jonathan Bentley, and we're going to do our staff picks now. But before we do, we have a special guest. Since we're in Carbon Hill and there's a kind of a local celebrity that works for us on the side, and I know you guys know him, and I know you guys at home know him as well. Mr. Zach McCullough is here. Zach, come on in and join us.
Hey,
Zach made it in today.
Welcome in, Zach.
Hey,
What's up, man?
well, thanks for having me.
Jeffrey called me on the way here, Zach, and he said, hey, you know what'd be cool? Is if we got Zach out of class and had him come. And I said, we're already on that. One, Zach doesn't have class. He's a homeschool student, so he can come whenever.
Class.
And two, we set that up yesterday. Jeffrey was like way behind.
Yeah, I was just behind. I didn't know.
I don't know. I don't blame you.
Now, are you nervous to be with us today?
Not really.
Okay. I mean, you're old pro at this point. Zach, I do have a question before we start our picks. Do you know what a three-point conversion is?
No, not really.
That was in the paper today, that some player from Winston County had three-point conversions.
I didn't know they had a field goal kicker.
Well, it wasn't field goals. I don't know. Jonathan Bentley made up the term, but it gave the guy 3 extra points on his stat line, so that's good.
You're very kind to him.
That's why they won.
All right, hey, let's go into the games for this week. Zach, you're usually a college picking guy, so are you up on the high school games this week?
Oh, yeah, I'm up on the high school games.
Okay, and then when we finish the high school, we'll mention a couple of college picks, but you can be kind of like Herb Street, you know how he doesn't like to give his picks since he's doing the games. You can not give the picks until you give your picks on your own show later in the week.
Okay.
Okay, but you can kind of break it down for us.
Oh, yeah.
All right, first game, Summerton Christian 1-8 at Victory Christian. Are we going to do like an all-in?
The name says it all. How do you beat a team named Victory Christian?
That's true. Okay, Victory.
Victory.
Okay, there we go. Lynn 4-5 at Winston County 3-6. I think this could be a really close game. Lynn's been right there. I mean, they've lost what 3 or 4 games by just a couple points. I think I'm going to go with the Bears in this one. I'm going Lynn.
This is actually really tough. I really want to go Lynn, but something kind of tells me that Lynn's going to have a hard time shutting down Owens. I think he's going to. It's not going to be to the level that Sumner Christian had problems, but still, I don't think Lynn's going to be able to shut down Owens. So I slightly am going to go Winston County.
Lynn.
Good job, Zach.
You look at these two teams, I think they're very evenly matched. You look at the one common team that they've played with Meek, and they both played them right about the same. So I think it's going to be a really close game, but I'm leaning Winston County.
Yeah, I'm leaning Winston County. How do you go against a guy that can get a 3-point conversion?
Right, yeah.
Austin Owens, he exploded on Sumner Christian last week.
Yeah, if he gets any one of those 3-point conversions, that's definitely over. Okay, how about we go Curry? Oh, no, that's this game, so we're going to wait till the end for that one. Even though I think it's going to be an all-in
unanimous.
on it. Let's go Oakman 6-3 at Corner 6-3. This has got to be a super close game. It was last year. It came down to the wire, and Corner picks up a win. I think it's going to be really similar this year, and I'm going Corner in it as well.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm going Corner as well. I got a chance to see them really in depth last week. Even though the field conditions were extremely bad, Corner just manages to go all in on their strategy. Coach Clemens is really good with that. But I do believe that, yet again, it's going to be close. It might be within 3 points, but I do go Corner.
Well, I couldn't decide who to pick, but then I remembered who the Oakman coach was. I'm good friends with Coach Hall, so I went Oakman.
There you go.
I think
I know what you think. You think that the Oakman defense is not giving up more than 21 points, and they had 7 turnovers versus Greene County.
So that's the man who stole my notes. Thank you, sir.
Right.
No, but I mean that's true. I mean Oakman's forced 7 turnovers against Greene County. I think they're giving up right at 20 points per game. If Oakman can force Corner to make some mistakes and take advantage of that, I think they'll win this game. But I agree with y'all, it will be close. But I'm taking Oakman.
There you go.
Taking Corner. They're rolling. It's kind of like the Cordova thing, which we haven't talked about yet. Ever since they just got everybody in the right spots, had all these injuries, and now everybody seems to be in the right spot, and they know what they're doing. Oakman's they're going to run. They're going to run Hubbard a lot, and I think Corner can stop them.
Yeah, well, and honestly, if it wasn't for Jasper and the streak that they've been on this year and how they've played, I think Coach Clements would be our Coach of the Year. He has done an excellent job overcoming those injuries and, like you said, putting people in the right spots. And now they've won, 4 in a row?
4 in a row, yeah.
I mean, that's an incredible coaching job there at Corner. And we're not talking about a Class 5A powerhouse every year. I mean, he's really done a good job with a team that's typically mediocre over the years.
Yeah. Him and Coach Jones, though. I mean.
Yeah, and Coach Jones too. Yeah. We'll talk about them next. Actually, West Point 4-5 comes to Cordova 4-5. I've seen West Point play. They did not look very good the time I saw them play, but they've had a couple big wins during the year. But I think Cordova's just like you said, they're on a roll, and it's going to be hard to stop them at this point. Even once they get into the playoffs and have to play a 1 seed, I'm going Blue Devils in this one.
Cordova's finding playmakers beyond what we had with Kason Smith and with Justin Wallace up to a few weeks ago. Adam O'Rear has really turned up to be a great wide receiver to complement Mason Robertson. He's had 2 100-yard games back-to-back now. The defense is always coming up with key stops when it needs to, and it's usually in the form of a turnover. So right now, I've got to go Cordova. I don't see, with the momentum that they build up, they're at home again, I don't see how they don't prevail in this game, but it could be closer than their games have been over the past couple of weeks.
Well, I couldn't decide who to pick. I think it's going to be a good game, but I've come up with one conclusion. Not so fast, my friend. West Point close.
Oh, what's the difference, you think?
One of those fumbles bounces West Point's way.
Okay, so turnover would be the difference.
I'm going strictly a momentum pick. I mean, I'm going to say this repeatedly right now, and I'll say it again when we start talking about the playoffs more in depth next week. Who would have thought Cordova, after starting 0-5, would be in the position they're in now? Cordova is on a run. They're a good football team.
I would have thought. I said it.
And on paper, it's 5A versus 4A. It seems like the obvious choice, but I really think Cordova's going to keep that momentum and win this game.
Yeah, I mean, West Point's played a brutal schedule. There's no doubt. But how can you pick against Cordova at this point, right?
Yeah.
From 0-5 to, if they go 5-5, I said they were the best 0-5 team. Are they the best 5-5 team in 3A? Maybe.
Oh, I think
4A.
Yeah, in 4A, I think they're
4A.
definitely the best 5-5 team. And to piggyback on what I said about Coach Clements, Coach Jones has done an excellent job as well. You know, he hasn't had the injury bug. Like, I think that's been the difference in those two coaches, is that Corner came in with high expectations, and then they lost a ton of players. And, I mean, how do you overcome that? And they found a way to overcome that. Cordova came in with low expectations, I would say, after an awful season last season. But he's pushed pride into that team and into the community again, and they're believing in the Blue Devils. And I'm with y'all. They're going to win that game. How about Dora, 2-7 at Fayette County, 7-2? Can we go all in on Fayette County?
I hate to, but yeah.
Zach has to pick them because his dad graduated from there.
Well, still, even if he had graduated from Dora, Fayette County would still win.
You know where I graduated from?
I know where you graduated from.
Dora.
So did Coach Chavis.
Right,
Chavis,
that's true.
so.
All right, hey, Jasper, 9-0 at Deschler, 7-2. Deschler's won 7 straight games. They lost their first 2 games to good opponents, Muscle Shoals and Russellville. And we saw what Jasper did against Russellville. But I really think this Deschler team is a good team. They were runners-up in Class 4A last year. They're going to be a playoff team this year. It's going to be closer than people think, but Jasper wins the game.
I think Jasper wins it, but I don't think it's quite close. I think Jasper gets another shutout. But I don't think it's the high points that what we normally are used to seeing Jasper do it. I think it's going to be more in the lines of maybe 28 to 31 points, somewhere in there.
I can see where you're coming from with that. Like, it's going to be tough for anybody to score on Jasper's defense.
Mm-hmm. And I think it contains that. So I'm thinking it's right around 28-0, 31-0.
I think Deschler will come out early and threaten the Vikings, but Jasper ultimately wins.
I kind of agree. I think both these teams are coming in. They're both champions of their respective regions.
Right.
Both really good teams. I think I agree with you that Jasper, I've said repeatedly, nobody's running on them.
Right.
Period. If Deschler can come out and form some kind of a passing attack, I agree with you, Zach. They could come in and they could actually threaten the Vikings. And it would really be the first time they've really just been threatened since that Central Clay County game.
Yeah.
But I still think Jasper will win. I don't know if it'll be a shutout, but it'll be about at least 2 scores.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it being 35-6, something like that. 35-7. Deschler will make an extra point.
Right.
But
No 3-point conversions.
Yeah.
no, we don't know. Maybe. But
Could be 35-9.
I mean, if they're not 10-0, I'll be shocked here.
Bentley's
No.
been on the phone with the AHSAA trying to get these 3-point conversions
Right,
a
yeah.
thing.
You're right. Well, and to y'all's point, especially about the running game, Deschler is a running team. Like, they're going to run the wing tee. They're not going to throw a ball a lot, but they do have athletes. So I'm afraid that's going to be where they do hit Jasper maybe for a big play if Jasper's secondary doesn't hold up, and they just throw a strange play out there and they score because they've got athletes all over the field. Last year, Deschler was up in the fourth quarter by 11 points on Jasper at Jasper.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's something to think about too. Now, it's
But
a
how many
lot
times-
different Jasper team.
I was about
this
to
year.
say how many times we talked about how much better Jasper is this year than last.
Right, right.
All due respect to Coach Moore, he has done something with that program for the better.
Right, definitely has. All right, let's go to our game of the week. We're sitting in Carbon Hill, and that's where the game of the week will be. Curry 0-9 at Carbon Hill 3-6. Why would that be our game of the week?
Because Carbon Hill's in the playoffs. Right?
Carbon Hill makes the playoffs for the first time in 20 years, and
That's right.
That's incredible. And
That's right.
also, Coach Williams was just celebrated in Tuscaloosa over the weekend for his job that he did on the championship team.
That's correct. I mean, that's two very significant events, very much so, much more than I think than just standard close out your games.
No, definitely. Plus it's a rivalry game between two county schools. Carbon Hill, the last time that they were in the playoffs was 1999, and they made it to the third round and got beat by Deschler. I think it was third round. I covered all those games.
Yeah, it was
they
third
beat
round.
Alexandria in the second round. Alexandria had won 43 straight games at home, and this Carbon Hill squad goes up there and beats them. And it was a bunch of players that nobody had ever heard of or nobody knew, but they all came together and had a great season. I still have a sweatshirt from the '99 season that Coach Davey Reed gave me. So
Can you wear it?
You should have won it today.
it's actually bigger now than it was then. So that tells you I've improved with age somehow, I think. But no, I think Carbon Hill, Coach Chavis Williams has done just an outstanding job to get 3 wins this year because they lost a ton of players off a 5-win team last year that didn't make the playoffs. So they got the right 3 wins that they needed this year, and I think they're going to pick up their 4th one. And to me, to stay at 4 wins with the team that he has, I think that's a great coaching job.
Yeah, and I've got to agree. I think Carbon Hill probably wins this game, probably right around maybe 16-0, maybe 24-7, something right around in there. But I do believe that Carbon Hill takes this one, gets to that 4 wins, and has a little bit more momentum going into the playoffs.
Yeah, the coaches are both defensive guys. I think it'll be low scoring, but Carbon Hill wins.
There you go.
I'm going with Carbon Hill with this. And you look at, we're talking about Carbon Hill first time in the playoffs since '99. You look on the other side of that coin. If Curry loses this game, it's going to be their first winless season since 2001. After the year they had last year, this has just not been their year, and Coach Foshi's first. The Yellow Jackets are going to have to hit this offseason and figure out how to turn this thing around. But yeah, Carbon Hill's going to win this game, and I think they're going to win it pretty big.
Yeah, it is. Curry's defense has been playing well. They held Northside to 23, I think, last week.
Well, they held Haleville
to 15.
15 a couple weeks
They
ago.
just can't score. You know, I mean, they're going to have trouble scoring on Carbon Hill. It will be maybe 21-0, something like that. But
Right.
Carbon Hill's going to have 4 wins, it looks like.
Well, I've seen Carbon Hill this year, and I don't want to slight the players when I talked about what a good job Coach Williams has done. These players fight, like they fight till the end. They were losing the door 30-something-0, and we're still battling, and we're not going to give up. And they've done that in the games that they've won, and I think that's the difference here. I think Curry will be outmanned, but I also think they'll be outworked, and I think Carbon Hill pulls off I'm kind of with you. I think it may be a shutout, and it may be 20-something-0, somewhere in there.
Talent by itself will not win these rivalry games, though. The passion, the momentum, that all factors in rivalry games.
That's true. That's definitely true. Now, Zach, you'll be at the game covering it. No, actually, Brian will be covering it this week.
We'll be broadcasting.
But Zach's going to be here as well because you and your dad will be doing the PA announcing.
Right.
And you're going to do our on-field interview with the coaches after the game.
Yep.
So people have to look for that on our Facebook page after the game. You'll be talking to Coach Williams and maybe Coach Foshie as well.
All right.
Zach, anything else you want to add? We're going to talk about a couple college games real quick before we go, but anything high school wise?
Great job to all these teams in the county. They fought hard all year. This is the last week. Actually, I think Meek and Addison have already finished up their season. Well, Addison's going to the playoffs,
Right.
but Meek is done for the year. They're out for the year. So all these coaches, everybody, all the players, they've done a great job this year. And next year, I hope they all do good too.
There you go. All right, hey, let's talk about a couple college games. First, UAB at Tennessee. UAB 6-1. Tennessee is 3-5. A week ago, I thought I had this game picked, but then Tennessee comes out and blows out South Carolina. So where do we go?
Well, right now, honestly, 3 weeks ago, if you would have asked us, I would have said absolutely UAB. But Tennessee, since the Bama game, has trended upward. They are playing a lot better, and the game's in Neyland. I hate to do this because I really want to pick UAB, but I've got to go with Tennessee on this. I think they're trending upward, and I think they're actually to the point where they played where they kind of should be right now.
Yeah.
UAB could probably beat Vandy and Arkansas. I think it'll be a good game, but you have to watch Zach's picks to see my final pick, though.
Oh,
Look at the tease. I like it.
Suspense.
No, I really, really want to pick UAB for this game. Tennessee has trended upward since that Alabama game. We look at Jared Garantano, the performance he had against Auburn last year, and then he fell back off. I think the one moment that really affected him was that fumble at the end of the Alabama game. I think the chewing out he got after that, having to deal with that, he said he went back and he apologized to his team and his coaches. And then you look what he did against South Carolina. In our preseason SEC rankings, I picked UAB to beat Tennessee this year, and it's not going to happen. Tennessee is turning the ship around. It's a slow turn, obviously, but Tennessee's going to win it.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought we'd pick them after their 0-2 start? They lose to Georgia State. That was the opener, right? BYU. And it looked like they were going to fire Pruitt, probably. And maybe now he saved his job, obviously, and they could go to a bowl game. Now they still have to beat Kentucky. They need to win this game, obviously. UAB, Kentucky, maybe Vanderbilt, and they make a bowl game. Nobody would have ever thought that.
No, I mean, we were saying they were dead in the water after 2 weeks, and now I hate it. I really wanted to pick UAB. I'm like every one of y'all. We all said we want to pick UAB, but I got to go Tennessee. I mean, after the game that they played last week, you can't pick against them in this spot, especially at home.
At Legion Field, I would pick them.
Yeah. I mean, UAB's terrible. Like you had said earlier, UAB is terrible on the road.
Heck, I had good mind to pick Chattanooga to beat Tennessee earlier in the season. Now Tennessee would probably win 59-0.
Right.
But they won 45-0 earlier.
Right.
So.
I mean, they definitely Tennessee. I think they make the bowl game. I'm with you. I think they win this one, and they beat Kentucky and they beat Vanderbilt.
And they end up at Legion Field in the Birmingham Bowl.
Right. Yeah.
If they make a bowl game,
maybe they'll play UAB again at Legion Field, and then we'll have a different.
Wow.
If they make it to that bowl game, how successful of a year is it for Jeremy Pruitt?
Oh, it's great. And I mean, he was headed out. Even at the Alabama game, when he grabbed Garantano, and was yelling at him, people turned on him quick.
Yeah.
But winning a game changes things, and now I think we're talking more about like Mississippi State's coach is the one that's going to be the first one fired, probably.
Yeah,
that's
more
getting bad.
Yeah. And Pruitt had a lot to do with that, with them beating Mississippi State.
So it's now Pruitt's fault that Moorhead might get fired.
Exactly. All right, the only other game I think we'll talk about in college is the world's largest cocktail party, right? Outdoor cocktail party.
We don't call it that
Not
anymore.
indoor.
I know they don't like to call it that anymore.
That's politically incorrect now, James.
Georgia, 6-1 versus Florida, 7-1 in Jacksonville. I've got a little tidbit for you.
There you go. I'm waiting on it. Let's see what you got.
Since 1990, Florida leads the series 21-8.
I had no idea.
But Georgia has won 5 of the last 8 games in the series.
That is phenomenal research, James.
Well, and Florida has been weirdly close to LSU until the end, but they struggled against Kentucky. Then they beat South Carolina. And then Georgia handled Notre Dame and Tennessee, but they lost to South Carolina. This was some great work. Great research by Jeffrey Winborn that I was able to steal just now.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, I guess I should make a pick. I'm going to go with Georgia. I think Georgia wins.
And I really hate to say this, really, but Georgia doesn't seem to be the superpower that we've made them out to be. I really thought by now that they would be blowing teams out of the water. They just really haven't. So right now, as much as it pains me to say this, I got to go Florida in this one.
Wow.
Spoilers alert. He is not as smart as you think he is for those stats at Swinburne, but yeah, it's gonna be. I think this will be a good game, defensive. Once again, watch my picks and you'll see the answer.
Zach, believe me, if they've watched this show for any amount of time, they know that I'm not as smart as I think I am. And especially if they watch our wrap-up show on Saturday
Yeah,
mornings.
probably right.
Okay, Winborn, now that I stole all of your material,
Well, here's
what do you got to say?
Here's what I didn't write down. Can we all collectively agree what we think of the Michigan Wolverines right now?
I mean, I don't know what to think of them.
Okay, I think they're pretty terrible in the Big Ten.
I do
okay.
too.
They're up and down.
Now
They're up and down.
here's the question. We were all just high on Georgia after they knocked off Notre Dame. How good does that win look now?
Right.
After what
Meaningless.
Michigan did to Notre Dame. I agree with you. Georgia is not what we thought they were. Florida, on the other hand, took the number two team, now number one team in the country, all the way into the fourth quarter before LSU pulled away. I think Florida's going to win this game. I think it could be within 10 points. But, I mean, like you found in your research, James, Georgia's won 5 of the last 8.
Yes.
Florida's winning this one.
The great gift of sarcasm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to wait for Zach's picks as well because I have no idea on this game.
Right.
I mean, Georgia, are they going to put it together? I mean, why would you think that though? They haven't really done that this year. They beat Notre Dame, which Michigan beat by 30 last week, as their big win this year. So, Florida is trending higher in this game for me.
I feel like a lot of people are just sleeping on Georgia, though, at this point. I mean, they haven't forgot how to play football.
They just haven't done anything to show us that they've got it this year.
Yeah.
I mean, South Carolina at home,
I know.
I mean, they had it right in front of them and still couldn't beat them.
I know.
South Carolina's still a good team, though. They kept Bama. It was a closer. They made Alabama allow some points, though.
Is this starting to feel more and more like Mark Richt to anyone else?
It is a little bit.
Yeah, the numbers bear that out.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
very similar.
The beginning of Kirby Smart's era and the Mark Richt era are like crazy similar.
Yeah,
And I
they're
would have
very,
never
very
thought that
similar.
either. You know, he just seems like a better coach. But
Well, I
Proves them
think
pretty.
all of us probably should wait on Thursday for Zach's picks because he'll probably give us the real winner.
I hope so.
Is the most schizophrenic team in the SEC the Missouri Tigers? Are they playing this week?
Well, it's not on this list that's in front of me.
I'm glad
that
he
doesn't
did not
mean
put it on the
anything.
list. I'm glad he did not put it on the limb because right now, picking a Missouri game to me is basically like putting $500 on a coin flip.
Well, that's
Yeah,
true.
They lost Kentucky.
Kentucky's pretty hard, too, though.
Yeah,
I
they are.
had to pick every Missouri game this season, and I'm most of the time wrong.
Zach?
But
No, Missouri is off this
Wrong?
week.
Missouri is off.
So
this
Missouri
week.
will not win or
And then,
lose this week.
and then in
Thank
two,
God.
and
The
then
bye
in 2
week is
weeks they
favored.
have Georgia.
be
We'll
interesting.
see how that goes.
I believe Georgia's that good.
Yeah. Yeah.
oh yeah.
All right, Zach. Anything else? I mean, you're a guest here. You want to close it out for us?
Well, I think the bye week's got a good chance over Missouri.
There you go. Does the bye week have a good chance over Alabama?
Well, it'll heal them, but
That's what we're
Yeah.
hoping for.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Now here's
Me
a
too,
tease
it'd
for
be
you
better.
people. If you want to
You
see
people.
well, you-
I'm sorry, folks.
it just came out. All right, let's start over. Here's a tease for everybody. If you want to see me and James Phillips argue on a game, tune in next week because we have very different views on how Alabama's next game is going to go.
Yes, that's true. I think we do. And both of us will be at that game.
Yes, we will.
I'll be at that game.
Nobody cares. I'm sorry, Zach. I had to. All right, hey guys. Zach's dad is like looking mean at me over here on the other side of the camera, so I gotta be. I'm
The
sorry.
agent's going to kill you.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry, Zach.
You're in trouble now.
He's close to the big guy upstairs, so I don't want to make him mad. Guys, anything else?
We're good.
All right, hey, from Carbon Hill, Alabama, we're saying thanks for watching, and see you at the football fields on Friday night.